Hi everyone and welcome, this is FMR. Today we're gonna play Oriental Empires. Oriental Empires is a 4X strategy game currently in early access, but it should be released very soon. It is a 4X game, which means explore, expand, exploit and exterminate. It's a strategy game which is turn-based, and today we're gonna start this new series where we're going to play as a custom game, and we're going to do this as a guide. So I'm going to show you some tips how to start the game, how to improve, and yeah, hopefully by watching this series you're going to improve. So we've got two types of game. You can start a grand campaign, which is based on an historical map of China, or you can start a custom game, which is actually what we're going to do. The reason for that is that it unlocks more factions. So you can pick any size map you want. I'm going to play on large. You can change the map style to be any you want. I'm going to go with continental shore. You can choose which part of China is going to be in the game. I think that influenced the different factions that are going to be in the game, but I'm actually not super sure. And you can have a random seed. So basically the map that is going to generate in a custom game is going to be a random, and it uses that number to actually generate the map. So your starting position and the geography of the map will always be the same for any unique random seed. However, the resources will be different. So when you start the game, you can pick one of the, I think there's something like 18 factions. Most of them are Chinese or Mongolians, and the first one are the one you've got unlocked by default. You need to play 200 turns to unlock the rest of the factions. The main difference between the factions, I think they can be classified in two groups. The first group are the farmers. So it's all these factions at the top. The farmers can actually farm the land surrounding the cities, and that gives them better boost to food, which increases their population faster. That's the main advantage they've got against the herders. So all of these are basically tribes, and they've got different bonuses obviously, but herders, I would consider that a malus by default. That's why they're not unlocked in the first place. So we're gonna start our guide as the Wu. Reason for that is I think they're quite straightforward. They don't have any big big pros or cons. Like if you pick the Sheng or the Han, they've got a big power development rate increased by 20%. That's technology improvement. You also got a peasant happiness increase. So that's all really good bonus. The Sheng as well have got an increased authority. They're very good factions. The Wu are a little bit more like your standard faction, no big bonus in terms of technology, no maluses as well. We're gonna play as the Wu. So let's begin. Now the word is gonna generate. We've got some in-game tutorials, and yeah, that's it. Here we are. So as you can see, the map is quite large. We've got the fog of war all around us, and cool thing with this game, if you discover this game, is you can zoom in very close. As you can see, I can go in my village, in my city, see what the people are doing. I can look at my armies, and that's all using the mouse wheel. That's very nice. So when you start a game, you've got your capital city, which is Meili in our case. And it starts already settled, so you cannot choose the location of your city. It is surrounded by some land. Some of it can be farmed. That's quite good for us. It's a decent starting location. And these little icons you see are so these are bonuses, resources, I would say. Wild game is going to give you a food bonus. So I've got 2 wild games. I wonder if they are outside my area of influence, which is slightly larger than what you see on the screen. These are rhinoceros, and they give a flat bonus to your income, flat bonus of 60. So it's already very good that we start near a rhino, and I hope I get the bonus, the food bonus as well. But I actually don't think so. I think it's only one extra X around my city influence. You start, let's not go in the city screen yet. You start with 2 units. One settler over there, so that you can settle and found a second city. And your army with your, I think it's your leader, and their bodyguard. So in this game you control your units in a turn-by-turn fashion. However, they only make their movement at the end of the turn, so everything is done and decided at the end of the turn. We can see down there we've got some possible encounters and mulberry, which mulberry is good for improving trade. It's actually not the best of the bonus you can get early game, but it's still a very decent one. I do have some copper mines over there, so that's a good news. I will be able, if I get a city around there, I will be able to have a bonus in terms of copper production for trade, so that's good to know. So I'm gonna start by sending my hero unit to this, so that we can see who's over there. So it's a rich merchant here and a venerable teacher, so they're gonna give me like flat bonus sometimes in exchange of money. My settler, I'm still not sure. I could go up north. The type of area I want to settle my second city is basically some very flat greenish, so plains, like these over there, and ideally with bonuses. So I could go here. Sorry, this is a little bit close to my city, my capital city. My capital city is gonna expand in terms of influence, and so I don't want to have another city too close by, otherwise they would have to, they won't be able to expand beyond their limits, their borders, and so it's not going to be great for growing in terms of influence. I need a lot of space around my city, probably 2 or 3 X's, because in the late game I will have a lot of farms and a lot of land owned by my capital. So I can send him down there and see what we've got. Farms are okay, but because you can cut down the trees and then it transforms into sometime grassland, sometime marsh, and then after that you can build a farm, but I would prefer to avoid that because it's wasted manpower. So that's the order I gave them. When I'm gonna eat the end turn, this is gonna resolve. Now I can go into my city view. So as you can see in my city, I can build 4 types of things at the moment. I can do 4 types of land improvements. The first one is farm, so I can build a farm, which is what I'm going to do right now. And I can tell my peasants where to build farms. And second thing I can do, however I can't do it right now, I don't have the technology to do that, is clear the land, so get rid of the forest, and so that I can build a farm on top of it. The other technology is building roads, that will come later against once unlocked. And then I've got special building outside my settlement, but there's no suitable sites for me to do so. That's very easy. I'm just going to build a farm right now. The thing you see down there are the flocks. So if I were a herder faction, I would see some number here, and the stored food just in case I'm getting attacked or sieged. Obviously I start with no food at all. This is the income that my city is making, 80 per turn. This is the food production, so only 2, and we're consuming 10 because my city have 10 inhabitants. We're gonna lose some population next turn. This is the unrest of my nobles on the left and my peasants on the right. So the unrest is a very interesting gameplay mechanic from this game. Basically, nobles and peasants have some happiness and unrest, and you need to manage that. If you don't manage it correctly, and if the percentage goes up and up and up, you might face a rebellion. So basically your city is going to be occupied by your nobles or your peasants, and you will have to take the city back, which is a very big annoyance. So nobles can be dissatisfied for many reasons. It's all explained here in this little screen. The main thing you can do to dissatisfy some nobles is to overexpand. So I'm gonna talk about expansion a little bit very soon. Don't worry about that. In terms of peasants can be very dissatisfied. Well, first of all, if there's food shortage, which we have right now, but that's not gonna last because I'm gonna build some farms. And then if you make them work too much. So you see I've asked them to build a farm, and it means 2 of them are actually working on building a farm. And that doesn't cost me anything. The only thing that it costs me is kind of manpower and happiness of peasants. If they work too much and too often, they're going to be dissatisfied, and I risk a rebellion. So by telling them not to do anything for a few turns, it's going to lower the satisfaction or the unrest of the peasants. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I think it's a very good thing, very good mechanic. It's very unique to China, and it really reflects historically how the faction and the cities were at the time. There was a lot of local conflict, local rebellions. So it's very interesting. So this is my population, the 10 population, and this is my growth rate, so minus 15. That's not really good. I've got 2 of the menus. This one on the left, let me build some buildings. So I can build a palace, I can build a wooden palisade. I cannot upgrade my city yet. I could build a boyar by default, a bazaar, and a granary. So we can talk about these a little bit later, especially when we're actually going to build them. But to begin with, I'm just going to build a wooden palisade. The reason I'm doing that is because this doesn't have any upkeep. So it's a very good early game because it's not going to change the income I've got. And the income is very important. It's probably more important than your actual current treasury. It's going to take 3 turns to build, that's fine. And more importantly, it's going to protect my settlement with a wall. Which means if I've got rebels coming to attack my city, and it happens quite a lot early game, it's going to be much harder to destroy and to attack. So I'm going to queue that in my build queue. I could build boyars, that's if I want to have a better militia recruitment pool. I can also recruit some light archers, but I don't want to do that now because I'm not going to go heavy on military in my very early game. And also I don't want to spend the 60 per turn on upkeep. So I got 2 civic buildings, a bazaar, which is going to be helpful for trades, but that's only if you have other cities around you. So I'm going to start some trade, so obviously not interesting at the moment. And granary, which is basically going to store, so if you produce more food than you consume, it can be stored in the granary. So in terms if there's anything, any world event, or if you're under siege, your population is not going to decrease because it's going to use the food from the granary. Again, we're early game, we don't really need to build a granary at the moment because we're not under threat. And anyway, we don't produce enough food. So that's it for my first turn. I can show you, so this is the advisor, which gives us some advice at some point. It's not really interesting. On the left, you've got a little recap of your cities. The red circle means the population is, well, there's some unrest, sorry. This means there's a little growth rate decrease, so my population is going to decrease next turn. I've got a farm queued and a building queued as well in terms of buildings. I've got 2 armies. One is my leader army and the other one is my settler, and these are events and messages from the game. On the right we've got some other menu. The first one is the diplomacy. That's when you meet some other faction, you can do some peace treaties or faction fraternity pacts and other things like that, declare war as well. This is the technology, I'm going to come back to that in a second, that's the next step we're going to take. This is where you can have issue some edicts. So edicts are basically policies you just issue, and it's gonna give you permanent effects and sometimes temporary effects for a few turns. It has some upkeep, it has a flat cost as well. Some of them are very important, but that's gonna come later in the game. This is my financial summary, so always good to know where is my income coming from. And what's good to know is that I do have some resources, so 60, that's from the rhinos, so that's very good for me. Then I can look at this, which is the player status, so a little recap of who am I, and the different victory conditions. So you can have 4 types of victory at the moment in Oriental Empires. Conquest victory, basically it's where you need to control a certain percentage, I think 65% of the total game population, so basically conquest a lot of cities to do that. Son of Haven is some sort of diplomacy victory where other faction recognize you as the true emperor. So you need 3/4 of all the faction in the game to recognize you as such to win the Son of Heaven victory. Cultural victory is you achieve that when you reach 50 cultural points and you get 50% more cultural points than the second highest player. And the score point victory. So I actually started this game with 150 turns, which is not a lot, but so it might go to points victory at some point. Then you got influence. Influence is very interesting. It has 2 metrics, culture and authority. Culture is used to decrease the unrest of your peasants. It also improves the way other factions look at you. So in terms of diplomacy, if you have a higher culture, the other faction are more likely to be peaceful with you and recognize you as the Son of Heaven. Authority is your ability to actually, so basically the authority of your faction, how good you are military-wise, and it's gonna, a higher authority is gonna help your nobles' unrest. So the higher it is, the lower your nobles' unrest will be. So you get that by doing text, both culture and authority. You do that by doing researching text. And also your leader as a natural authority. Right now my leader is really poor, and so he doesn't have any authority. However, if you win the few battles, he's gonna win some authority. And authority are also really good if you want to expand. Because if you overexpand, your nobles are gonna be really unhappy. So in order to expand, you need first to make sure you got the needed authority to do so. Then automation are a few options to automate the technology or your new settlements or the farming. However, I think it's a little bit of cheating to do so, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, that was a quick overview of the game. Now let's just pick a few technologies and we're going to move on a few turns. So technologies in Oriental Empires are really interesting. They're divided in 4 different tech trees, and then every tech tree is divided in 3 age. So you've got the early Bronze Age, the Warring States era, and the Imperial era. They all have different technologies. What I like about that is that you got dependencies between different tech trees. So for example, this is a tech from the knowledge, you know that because it's green. So from the knowledge tech tree, and it's a dependency to build that. Some factions are better at some things than the others, and I like the fact that you can build research stuff in parallel, because it's kind of more realistic as well. So in terms of power, what we're going to do, we can probably search for that, increase farm food production by 5%. Food production is very important because it's going to be your main part for the income, because you're going to get taxes, and the more population you get, the better taxes you get. Craft, in terms of craft, I could look at could do that to clear some forest, or I can just get some culture going on, which I'm probably gonna do. The other thing I could do is that, which will allow me to build a silk weaver, which might be good if I settle down there with next to the mulberry. Where is it? Over there. That's gonna give a bonus to silk trade. So that's an option that I'm actually gonna try to do. In terms of thought, the initial ones are pretty straightforward. They all give cultural increase or an authority increase, and I'm gonna pick this one because I need better authority to expand. And over there we've got horse domestication, composite bow, and calendar. I'm gonna go with... I need the extra authority, so I need to search for calendar at the moment. Right, so now I can hit enter, and we're gonna see all our units moving in real time. So as you can see, it's all resolved only once I press enter and not before. I can speed these animations a little bit, and I can follow them, and that's it. So my city now has lost some population, only 8, but it got an income of 8, that's good. Actually, domestic and agriculture, farming, okay, because I started farming, so I don't get the bonus from these two things, which is a shame. Maybe I should try to put a farm here and see if I get the bonus after that. Okay, you're still gonna move there. You're still gonna move there. Fine. As you can see here, I do have some little icons, tooltips, and it basically tells me I'm in. So if I settle here, I'll be in a good distance to take advantage of the mulberry, the wild game, and the 2 coppers over there, which is actually a very, very good location. It will also be in direct trade distance from my capital. However, it's a little bit too close, but this might be a very good place to do. I'm gonna go there actually and settle next turn. Alright. So this is an encounter, and to actually trigger the event, I need for my leader to be staying on the same tile and at the end of the turn. So okay, I'm right now meeting a merchant. He wants me to pay him 400 gold to increase my authority by 2. Yes, definitely. I need the initial authority right now. And over there I can settle. So I'm gonna take advantage of mulberry wine and the 2 coppers. Actually, that's not ideally. I would really like to take advantage of this. Let me think for a second. I actually don't know what's down there. So that would be a bit dangerous to settle here without knowing if I've got any resources there. Yeah, it's better to go there. Yeah, do that. I think I can have another city over there. And you are gonna move here. Here, my first farm has finished. I need to create another one. I'm gonna do it here. And my palisade will be done in 2 turns. Good. Right, so I don't have any resources here, and I've got mountains. So that's good news for me because it's going to be a good protection. Oh, actually, wild game here. So can I settle here and take advantage of the wild game? Yes, wild game mulberry. I'm in good trade distance from my capital. So yes, I'm going to settle right here. Fine. Great. Encounter here. A venerable teacher is gonna increase my ren by my virtue by 1. That's great. That means now my hero, my leader, has a better ren, which is that one on the right. And that's my key, which is my authority. It's very good. My leader is very weak at the beginning of the game. I need that. So I'm kind of protected over there, so I could even I could try to explore over there, or I could go up there. I think because we've got copper here, I probably want to go over there and see if I can settle there next. In my new city I should have a good growth rate. Yes, I do, because I've got the wild game over there. I'm gonna convert these to farmlands. The unrest is really low here because it's a new settlement. You can see my peasant unrest is back to 0 here, so I can continue building some farms. My income is decent, and I could build a palisade here as well to protect, but I don't think I need to do it right now because I'm quite well protected, and I don't have the manpower to actually build that. I'm just going to focus on building farms at the moment, and then once I've got more population I'll be able to build some more buildings. Okay, I think that was a quick introduction to Oriental Empires. I hope you enjoyed it. What we're going to do in the next few episodes is going to continue that game and try to talk about all the decisions we make, what is the best path to go, which are the good technologies to choose, and when you should expand and things like that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.